Ryzen 3, 4 cores, 8 threads. On paper, that sounds modest, and honestly it is, but modest doesn't mean useless. AMD built the Ryzen 3 to handle the kind of computing that makes up roughly 90% of what most people actually do every day. Browsing, streaming, video calls, word processing, the occasional casual game. For students and office workers, it covers all of it without complaint. Ryzen 5. This is where AMD actually won the market. Not in benchmarks, not in server rooms, in living rooms and dorm rooms and YouTube builds watched by millions of people. The Ryzen 5 1600, launched in 2017, shipped with 6 cores and 12 threads for around $200. Intel's competing chip at that price had 4 cores. The difference wasn't subtle. Productivity tasks, streaming, light video editing, the Ryzen 5 handled all of it without breaking a sweat, and the price made it almost impossible to argue against. It became the default recommendation on every PC building forum almost overnight. The Ryzen 5 line turned AMD from a budget afterthought into a brand people actively chose. Ryzen 7. If Ryzen 5 was the sweet spot, Ryzen 7 was where things started getting serious. 8 cores, serious clock speeds, and a price that sat just below what Intel was charging for comparable performance. The Ryzen 7 1700 launched alongside the rest of the first generation, and it pointed at a specific buyer: the creator, the developer, the person rendering video or compiling code who needed headroom without paying workstation prices. The 5800X3D, released in 2022, became one of the most talked about gaming chips AMD ever made. Ryzen 9. Here's where AMD stopped competing and started winning. The Ryzen 9 3900X launched in 2019 with 12 cores, and it did something AMD hadn't done in years. It gave high-end desktop buyers a reason to actually consider switching. Before this, the top-end consumer processor conversation always ended with Intel. The 3900X changed that. Video editors, 3D artists, software developers, people who actually pushed CPUs to their limits found that AMD wasn't just matching Intel anymore. The Ryzen 9 5950X pushed it further, shipping with 16 cores and landing benchmarks that embarrassed chips costing hundreds more. Ryzen AI. The name change said everything. Starting with the Ryzen AI 300 series in 2024, AMD formally acknowledged that the CPU's job description had changed. These chips ship with a dedicated NPU, a neural processing unit, built directly into the silicon. The idea is to run AI workloads locally, on device, without hammering the CPU or GPU, and without sending data to a cloud server. Microsoft's Copilot Plus PC requirements pushed this shift into mainstream product categories, and AMD moved fast to meet them. Chips like the Ryzen AI 9 HX370 landed in Ultrabooks with enough NPU performance to qualify for the new Windows AI features out of the box. Ryzen Pro. Most people never see these chips, which is exactly the point. Ryzen Pro processors are built for enterprise buyers, large companies, IT departments, organizations deploying hundreds or thousands of machines at once. The core silicon is often identical or near identical to the consumer version, but Pro chips come with extended availability guarantees, memory encryption through AMD's secure memory encryption technology, and features designed for remote management and fleet security. Ryzen Z1. This one came from an unexpected direction. The Ryzen Z1 series launched in 2023, designed specifically for handheld gaming PCs. Asus ROG Ally was the first major device to use it. The standard Ryzen Z1 offered a more affordable entry point into that market, while the Ryzen Z1 Extreme pushed performance as far as the thermal constraints of a handheld device would allow. The Extreme variant included significantly more graphics compute units, which mattered enormously in a device where there's no discrete GPU. Everything runs on integrated graphics. Handheld gaming had existed before, but AMD gave manufacturers the silicon to build something genuinely capable rather than just technically functional. Threadripper. Everything else in the Ryzen lineup exists to compete with Intel's mainstream and enthusiast consumer chips. Threadripper exists to compete with workstations. The original Threadripper launched in 2017 with up to 16 cores, but that was just the opening bid. Later generations pushed into 64-core territory. The Threadripper Pro line expanded that further and added support for massive amounts of ECC memory. These chips target 3D animators rendering feature films, engineers running complex simulations, scientists processing enormous datasets. Core i3. When Intel launched the Core i series back in 2010, the i3 was always the entry point, the chip that sat at the bottom of the stack but still represented a serious step up from what came before. It had 2 physical cores with hyperthreading, which let the system treat it as 4 logical cores. For basic tasks, web browsing, document editing, streaming video, it was more than enough. The honest truth about the i3 is that it always punched slightly above its price. Students, budget office builds, and light home machines ran on these for years. Core i5. This is probably the chip that built Intel's reputation with regular consumers more than any other. Not because it was the fastest, but because it consistently hit the right balance between cost and performance. Gamers loved it. Productivity users loved it. The i5 was the default answer whenever someone asked what processor to put in a new build. For a long stretch during the mid-2010s, the i5 was essentially the gaming CPU. Quad-core, no hyperthreading, but strong single-core performance that game mentions of the era responded well to. Core i7. When the original Core i7 launched in 2008, before the i3 and i5 even existed, it was Intel's answer to a simple question: how much performance can we extract from a desktop chip for enthusiasts willing to spend real money? The answer was the Nehalem architecture, and it was a significant leap. 4 cores, 8 threads, a new memory controller built directly into the processor. Professionals doing video editing, 3D rendering, and simulation work suddenly had a tool built for them. Over the following decade, the i7 evolved dramatically, gaining more cores, faster clocks, better power efficiency, but the positioning never really changed. It was always the chip for people who needed more than the mainstream but weren't ready to go full workstation. Core i9. Intel introduced the Core i9 in 2017, and it arrived at an interesting moment. AMD's Ryzen had just launched and was aggressively challenging Intel on core count and price. The i9 was partly a competitive response and partly Intel acknowledging that the enthusiast market wanted something above the i7. The first desktop i9s were desktop-class HEDT chips, high-end desktop, with configurations going up to 18 cores. They ran hot. They needed expensive X-series platforms, but content creators, streamers doing heavy encoding, and professionals who genuinely needed that kind of throughput had something designed specifically for them. Today you'll find it in both desktops and high-performance laptops. Core Ultra. This one represented something of an identity shift for Intel. Launched in late 2023 under the Meteor Lake architecture, Core Ultra wasn't just a rebrand. It introduced a tile-based chiplet design, which was a meaningful departure from Intel's traditional monolithic die approach. For years, Intel had built processors as a single unified piece of silicon. It also came with a dedicated neural processing unit, the NPU, targeting AI workloads running locally on the device. Intel vPro. Not a chip, a platform certification layered on top of existing core processors. The key feature is remote management. IT administrators can access, diagnose, or wipe a machine even if the OS has crashed or the device is powered off. Consumer buyers rarely see it, but for enterprises managing thousands of machines, it's a standard requirement. Intel Atom. Built for the netbook era of 2008. Small, cheap, low power, it did exactly what it promised, but the experience was often sluggish. Then, smartphones and tablets ate the market those netbooks were chasing, and Atom had to find a new purpose. It did, quietly. Embedded systems, IoT devices, and industrial hardware, where efficiency matters far more than speed. Intel Xeon. Xeon exists in a completely different world. These processors are built for servers and workstations running continuously under heavy load, sometimes for years without a restart. They support ECC memory, which automatically corrects memory errors that would crash a consumer machine. They support multi-socket configurations with hundreds of cores across a single system. The cloud infrastructure, scientific simulations, and data centers powering everything you use online, that's Xeon's territory.